want to talk about some of the questions that we get. One of the questions that we've been getting is, what's the case worth? What are the settlements amounts? And the short answer is nobody knows. Nobody knows. The case is, the law has been in effect for 7 days. No cases have been settled. There have been no trials. No one knows what they're worth. So what do we look at? When you have a value to a case, any case, you're looking at actual economic loss. Could you not go to work for a period of time because of this injury? Or
does that include medical bills? So if someone developed cancer, their medical bills as well?
Right. So actual economic loss is money out of your pocket, driving to and from the doctor, medical bills that you had to pay for. Those are the big ones, but there's really no limit on actual economic loss. But it can be economic loss in the past. It can be economic loss in the future. Say, you still had the ability to work or are going to have to keep going to doctor's appointments, so you're going to expend money for gas and things like that.
Gotcha.
So you have past and future economic loss, and then you have past and future pain and suffering. And pain and suffering means pain and suffering, but it can be more than that. It's the emotional distress, the things that are not good in your life, and that can be physical, emotional, stress, trauma, things like that as well.
Okay.
We don't know what the settlements are, but there is some guidance that we have. At a basic level, different cases are going to be worth different amounts of money. Someone who had prostate cancer and was successfully treated and has lifelong effects from prostate cancer, but is continuing to live and healthy and can do the things that they enjoy, is a different scenario than someone who had bladder cancer and is deceased.
Or has it.
Right.
Battling it. Yeah.
Battling it. And so it's a case-by-case basis, depending on the illness, as well as the effects of that illness on the individual person. And something that we've, I think, done well is, or what good lawyers will do, is talk to the clients and find out how this illness has affected their life, not just the diagnosis, but what are the effects. And then we look at other cases where there have been settlements. And we know, for example, from recent Roundup settlements can be $150,000 or $200,000 per case, and
every case is different, is what you're saying. Like there's some there's obviously a value to it to an extent from the previous cases that might be similar to it, such as these Roundup cases, but you don't know. Every case is different, right?
Yeah, every case is different, but I think what we're comfortable saying is these are very serious illnesses. There's been tremendous economic loss and tremendous pain and suffering. Years of cancer treatment is horrible pain and suffering. I can't think of something off the top of my head that
right. And not only for that individual, but the family or the caregivers around them, it impacts them as well.
But the other cases, and the reason I bring up these other cases, whether it's Roundup, it's another toxic exposure. Paraquat's another one that's been in the news lately. Toxic exposure that causes really serious illness. And these cases have settled recently for large amounts of money. And I think we can all agree the amounts of money that we're talking about in the Camp Lejeune settlements are going to be large amounts of money. And then you get into, well, my version of a large amount of money might be different than your version of a large amount of money, and the money,
right.
And the judge's opinion might be different, and the defense attorney's opinion might be different. What is a large amount of money? I think everyone agrees we're talking about substantial settlements. In my opinion, you look at other cases, what they've settled for, and they are, is every case worth $1 million? No. Are some of the cases and the horrendous injuries worth hundreds of thousands of dollars? In my opinion, they are.
Right. Well, and even if it's not $1 million, I mean, these people who have gone through, let's say, cancer, obviously have accumulated medical bills that are thousands of dollars, So, I mean, people can go into debt from being ill.
Yeah. And there's medical bills that are getting paid by Medicare. There's medical bills that are getting paid by the VA. I talked to a family yesterday, multiple myeloma, which is clearly related to the exposure at Camp Lejeune. He takes pills that are low-level chemotherapy. He will take them till the day he dies, $19,000 a month for his medication. And he doesn't pay all that. Insurance helps
Yeah,
pay that.
but still.
This is the amount of money that is being expended, not only by the person, but by insurance companies and other folks in our community because of this exposure. That's the most I've heard, $19,000 a month, but was pretty eye-opening for me.
Yeah.
That was just yesterday.
Is there anything else you want to touch base about what's going on? And because I feel like every day there's new developments on just the, like obviously the bill was just passed, and then, what happens from there, and everything's constantly changing. So
Yeah,
how
that's
do you,
just a question that we get over and over is the settlement amounts. And I know all the other lawyers that I've talked to are getting that question all the time, and we don't really know, but what we can give is a framework, and I think it's a substantial amount of money. And the people we talk to, they're not in it for the money. It feels, I think, good that they're being recognized what they went through and the suffering. And, money is a reflection. The law was passed so that they could recover and maybe we can prevent this from happening again. And it's important to them to show that the veterans are being taken care of. Their families are being taken care of. They've suffered a lot because of this toxic exposure, and the government has taken action to compensate them and really recognize the pain and suffering and going forward. I know in the process of passing the bill, there were various estimates that were given, and I think the estimates for the payouts were I know one was $6.8 billion. I know one was $7.2 billion. I think the number $10 billion was thrown around. So,
and that's what's available for people who want to submit a claim, like a total. How does that how does that work?
yeah, so in some cases there's a pot of money and everybody has to share it.
Okay.
That's not this case. So the way the law was written, and that was certainly a possibility that they could have allocated a certain amount of money and that would have been it. Mm-hmm. It's part of the settlement fund of the United States of America. It's a mandatory spending. There's not a certain amount of money. It's an unlimited amount of money through the government. So there's not a cap. And in most cases there is a cap. This is a little bit different.
Okay.
That was the estimate that was given to the lawmakers in the House and the Senate, that in the next 10 years, the settlements could add up to certainly in the many billions of dollars. So I think what that signifies is there's going to be cases that are, so if, say there was 100,000 claims submitted, if you had $6.8 billion, the average is 68,000. And nobody knows how many claims there are, but we're talking about some that are substantially higher and maybe some that are lower, but